Yesterday, the Senate confirmation hearings of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson continued, and Lindsey Graham decided to be the one to make the biggest ass out of himself for the day. In addition to asking Judge Jackson what her religion was and also how she would rate her faith on a scale of 1 to 10, he also went off on a tangent about how much he wants to just destroy the lives of everybody being held indefinitely at Guantanamo Bay. And of course, when Democratic Senator Dick Durbin fact-checked him to his face, Graham became even more irate and stormed out of the hearing. Here's a clip of the exchange between Graham and Durbin. Take a look.
If we close Gitmo and move them to Colorado, do you support indefinite detention under the law of war for these detainees?
I would just say I'm giving the facts. And
the answer is no.
I want to make sure that it's clear. The 31% you referred to goes back to the year 2009? 2000.
What does it matter when it goes back to? We had them and they got loose and they started killing people.
Well, I could just say that...
if you're one of the people killed in 2005, does it matter to you when we release them?
Suggest that a president of your own party released him in...
I'm suggesting the system has failed miserably, and advocates to change this system, like she was advocating, would destroy our ability to protect this country. We're at war. We're not fighting a crime. This is not some passage of time event. As long as they're dangerous, I hope they all die in jail if they're going to go back and kill Americans. It won't bother me one bit if 39 of them die in prison. That's a better outcome than letting them go. And if it costs $500 million to keep them in jail, keep them in jail, because they're going to go back to the fight. Look at the friggin' Afghan government. It's made up of former detainees at Gitmo. This whole thing by the left about this war ain't working.
Let me also note that Larry Thompson, who served as Deputy Attorney General under President George W. Bush.
So let's pause for a minute and talk about what is upsetting Lindsey Graham there so dang much. First and foremost, he doesn't want to be called out to his face that he's lying about the actual number. So of course, yeah, that set him off. But think about what he is saying there for a moment. He would rather take these detainees that have been down there in Guantanamo Bay, some of them for decades now, not charged, not given a fair trial, not given anything, just sitting there rotting in this military prison. He would rather, as he admits himself, deny them all legal rights that they are entitled to, spend $500 million to incarcerate them, either at Guantanamo or here in the United States, than to actually let them have a fair trial. That is how filled with hatred and rage Lindsey Graham is. And part of that, of course, has to do with the fact that Lindsey Graham has not met a war that he hasn't fallen madly in love with. He wants these people to suffer. He wants them to live the rest of their lives in pure anguish while we rob them of their legal rights. Doesn't matter if you support the war on terror or if you're against it. Doesn't matter if you think all these people are guilty or all these people are innocent. It doesn't matter what they do after we've released them. Under the law, they're entitled to have a fair trial. That's how things work here in the United States. Doesn't matter if you love it or hate it. That's what is supposed to happen. But not according to Lindsey Graham. He would rather drive this country into bankruptcy than to let these people go. Because as he says, every one of them that we let go is out there still killing our boys. First of all, that's not true. And Dick Durbin, I think, did a fairly decent job of trying to correct Lindsey Graham, but Lindsey Graham didn't want to hear it. Lindsey Graham had his talking points that, of course, were completely irrelevant to the entire hearing. You know, he has this exchange with Dick Durbin. Judge Jackson's still just sitting there wondering, am I going to be asked a question or what should I do? Should I leave so you guys can work this out among yourselves? But ultimately, of course, she didn't have to because Lindsey Graham, like a toddler, decided to grab his crap and head home to cry to his pillow. One of today's video sponsors is Noom. Noom is a different, new way to get healthy and achieve your goals using proven psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy practices. As a leading expert in behavior change, Noom leverages a powerful combination of human coaches, psychology, and science to empower people to take control of their own health. Noom helps you learn how your mind works and the why behind the decisions you make. Learning, not dieting, is what leads to real lasting change. There's more to living a healthy life than being a healthy weight, and that's why weight management is just the beginning for Noom. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to healthy habits, and Noom uses a comprehensive quiz that allows them to get to know your body, your habits, and your goals, and they use that information to tailor a plan specifically to your needs. You can also get one-on-one advice from professionals, something that makes Noom so unique and beneficial. The program is designed to keep you motivated by focusing on why you want to get healthy, not just on how you can lose weight fast. You can take the free 30-second quiz to get started today. Just go to Noom.com/ringofire to get started, or you can click the link in the video description below.